Hello and good afternoon, good evening, and good morning in some places. Welcome to the new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends. And yes, folks, we have brought a bunch of friends, 2 new faces joining us for the first time this evening, and I am super stoked to be here. We have an incredible show for you. I think there's going to be a lot of salt, so bring the freaking popcorn because we have knuckleheads out there making videos and people making complete fools of themselves. It's almost to the point of embarrassment, but we'll get into that. We're going to be talking about Grand Theft Auto 5, which is re-releasing again and again and again, and who's buying it. Grand Theft Auto 6 coming to you, and here's the confirmed release date, May 32nd, 2056. And that date doesn't obviously exist because, well, neither does Grand Theft Auto 6, but we will talk about that because, well, I don't know when that game is coming out. And if it does come out in that year, will it be only multiplayer? Well, that is the good question. Will we get the single player that we know and love? I don't know, but let's get into, of course, the 2 special guests. And the first gentleman comes to us is someone that has been in the chat for many, many years since watching the show. He's also just interviewed me on his YouTube channel. I had an absolute blast sitting down with him last week, shooting the shit for about 60, 70 minutes. And, it was a lot of fun. Web Dave, welcome to the program.
Boom. Thank you so much for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. Like I said, been watching you for a long time. I love your content, and it is truly great to be here, especially with this amazing panel. That's awesome. Thank you, sir.
Man, it's great to finally have you on the show. Thank you for the interview. And of course, if you didn't know, he is the one that got me the X fridge, and I'm still blown away. The fact that he did such a nice gesture. I told him that it was too much, but he did not see otherwise. But listen, brother, thank you so much for being here. And of course, one half of 1H1D, Chris. Tell everybody where you're from. Welcome to the program. And of course, you know Wandering Dutch rather well, don't you there, sir?
I do, yeah. I'm part of the Midweek Mix-Up Collective there.
Yes, you are.
And thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been awesome to be with all you amazing content creators. And I am part of 1 Hour 1 Decision, 1H1D, as you mentioned. And we take an hour and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass. And then Tom and I decide if we want to keep playing the game or not. So our episodes are fairly short. So, like bite size, like under half an hour at the most. So, yeah.
Well, it's great to have you here, Chris. Been trying to get you on for a while. Obviously, we finally were able to get things together. It's great to have you on, and we're going to have a lot of fun this evening. Let's get next into the Wandering Dutch, the best beard in the business, brother. How the heck are you?
Yeah, I'm going well. How about everybody else? Everybody else good tonight?
We are doing well.
What's up, Dutch?
Stuff. Awesome. What's up, Mark? Loud as ever.
Oh, well,
No, it's awesome. I'm super stoked to get into everything with this awesome large panel again this evening. Again, two awesome new and up-and-coming creators as well, both Web Dave and Chris, of course, with 1 Hour 1 Decision. It's going to be awesome tonight. Looking forward to jumping into these topics.
Yeah, we have 2 topics that we're going to be covering. Of course, I talked about Grand Theft Auto, and we're going to talk about a lot of the controversy because a certain comedian who wasn't funny thinks and says that somehow or another, not only has Microsoft is going to turn into the twirling mustache villain that we knew from the 90s, but they also are going to raise prices and Amazon.com us in our sleeps. And we'll get into that. But Kay Asante, welcome back to the program, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, all. I'm happy to be among such awesome panelists and gamers alike in the chat. I see all you there having a good time. Yeah, it's been a pretty good week for me as well. I too was cornered and forced to tell my secrets to Mr. Web Dave. I actually had a pretty good interview with him on Sunday, which will come out on his channel soon enough. But yeah, it's good to have you guys here, you and Chris. That's a great idea. 1 hour, one decision. I need to watch that. That's actually awesome. I hadn't caught that idea first, and that's really cool. It's surprising that nobody else has done that. So there you go. That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to checking out the content.
It came to me while I was taking a shower. So there you go.
There you go.
You know,
best ideas sometimes come.
It is funny that you say that, Chris, because most of the names for the shows that I have come up with have come at the most inopportune times. Breakfast with Boom. Online at Stop and Shop, paying for my groceries.
There you go.
That's what they call the eureka moment.
Yes, the Xbox Factor podcast. Guess what? Folding wash downstairs. I mean, there you go, folks. You're getting a little a bit of history to. Sometimes those ideas just pop in your head, and I mean, listen, that's the whole fun of content creation. But let's bring in, of course, the Mag. What's going on?
Sir.
You know what? I see people in the chat. They're very disappointed with you, Mag. And Mag, you're not wearing the unicorn outfit I expected.
No. Maybe next week when Horizon Forbidden West comes out, I'm going to wear that. I'm going to wear my whole outfit just for the show. I mean, why not?
You're going to come as the redhead? You promise?
Well, I might be. You know what? I might come in. Maybe I'll show up as Aloy. Who the hell knows?
Leave
but I
the
gotta tell you guys,
bring the redhead.
Oh my God! Speaking of which, the nonsense and the chaos that I created this week with that whole Halo tweet was unbelievable. 135,000 really, really upset people. It was fantastic. If anybody doesn't know what I was talking about, please go check it out.
I do.
Oh, Jesus Lord. Did you see it, Dutch? I said, so now that Sony owns Halo, who's going to be making the Infinite DLC?
Dude,
the community went insane. Of course, it was just a joke, right? Obviously, but man, people did not see that. But anyways, guys, enough of that nonsense. We got a great show tonight. We got some great guests here tonight. Look at that. We got Chris in here. We got Web Dave in here. First time on the show. First time doing a show with them. And, of course, we have our all-star panel and, of course, our host, Boom. Guys, get ready for a great show tonight. Let's break some records. Let's get some laughs in here. Let's have some good topics and good conversation. Everybody, let's do it.
Yes, great to have you here. And certainly, last but no least, the slanderous one himself, Everborn Saga, who's not on camera because he's having some technical issues, which we hope to have fixed momentarily. Everborn, how the heck are you, man?
I was all right until Windows decided to be a jerk and not let me use my camera. I don't know what's going on.
That's what happens when you slander operating systems. I'm sorry.
Just too handsome.
I know that. Listen, no matter what, I know what this is about. They want me to upgrade to Windows 11, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
I'm just not going to do it.
Do that to me as well.
So they can try these extortion tactics all they want. It's not going to work. But I'm excited about today, and let's hope we don't ruin everything. If you catch my drift.
Something was ruined, and it's called his credibility as a human being. But
you thought he had that before? The guy that has his whole career is based off mansplaining. No, we'll talk about that.
You guys talked about that with Rand over the weekend.
Yes, we did.
And I did not know that he was a mansplainer, which makes this even worse because if you're going to be a mansplainer, you got to kind of know what you're talking about. And the word boob comes to mind, among other words, which, this is a PG show, so I won't say them. But let me thank two of the fine folks from the community dropping super chats this early evening. And we Drawn TJ, generous friend of the program. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, hello, Boom and panel. Well, hello, Drawn TJ. Thank you for being here. And Silent Cypher drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, stacked panel tonight. So many awesome creators. You've outdone yourself this week, Boom. Love you all. Thank you all for the awesome content. And we love you too, brother. And thank you for the kind words. As great as the generosity is, it's those kind words that make us, put the burn the midnight oil, so to speak, when we're putting these shows together. And we truly appreciate that. Folks, let's get right into it. Grand Theft Auto 6. has been confirmed. Now, this is not a big deal. This is it's kind of like, well, you kind of knew that was coming. Obviously, this was a shareholders move. Their stock a couple days before had tanked a little bit. They make this big announcement. They make a big comeback. Big surprise. Guess when it's coming out? Well, your guess is as good as mine. They say that the development is well underway, according to Rockstar Games. And considering that Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013, and we're going to talk about the numbers this past December, is there a rush for Grand Theft Auto 6? Well, for me personally, there is, but not for Rockstar. And not for the Take-Two shareholders who obviously love printing money. Because, wow, let's get into exactly what's going on with Grand Theft Auto 5. Folks, it is releasing this March, or should I say re-releasing this March for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S for the full price of, I would imagine, is probably $70. But here is where it gets a little bananas. I have numbers in front of me, and of course, you can have opinions and you can argue opinions, and our opinions can be different, but you can't argue numbers. And apparently, well, folks, this past December, 5.1 million copies of Grand Theft Auto 5 were sold. Now, I don't know where these people came from. I'm imagining that they came in from Mars, and there they couldn't get the shipping rates site, so they came here.
I was going to say at this rate, I think people are just giving newborns copies of GTA 6.
Pretty much, yes, because, folks, get ready for this. I hope you're sitting down. As of today's show, there has Grand Theft Auto 5 has officially sold 160 plus million copies since it released in 2013. That is bonkers.
Wait until you hear how many copies that garbage remaster they put out the other day.
Oh no, I have that number too. So folks, if you are interested, and the 160 plus million copies of Grand Theft Auto 5, 373 million copies worldwide of GTA, I believe that is the number. Almost 400 million copies sold, series wide. When the trilogy launched, it was a steaming pile. Let's just say that. From what I understand, it still is a steaming pile.
It's still a very bad game.
And folks, guess what? Well, people love GTA because the trilogy, that is terrible. That runs terrible. Probably as bad as my driving right here. 10.1 million copies have been sold of the broken mobile Grand Theft Auto trilogy. That is this.
Can I just say that you people are sick?
Well, you know what, though? In all fairness, it's got Ice Cube's It Was a Good Day on there. I'd buy it just for that. That was a great song.
Turn to yourselves, look in the mirror, and boo yourself.
All be ashamed of yourselves.
10.1 million copies?
10.1 million copies of today's show. That is correct. Yes. Of a game that launched broken, still is broken.
And by and large, pieces of it are in Game Pass. And still it's sold that much.
Like Resident Evil Village, which is a superior game in almost every aspect, didn't even sell that many.
There you go.
Jeez, man.
And when did that come out? October, I think. November. So, 3 months. It sold more than a game that launched in March. I mean, I listen. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I do want to get everyone's opinion. Obviously with Grand Theft Auto 6 being announced, and we really don't know when that's going to come out. I'm thinking, honestly, I'm not even trying to be facetious here, folks. 2024, 2025 is when I see this game launching. A lot of us
generous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try. A lot of people here in the panel don't believe it is going to be a traditional GTA. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of folks, and we're going to get to you guys right now, that think that this is going to be a very potential Destiny-esque open world, always on kind of a service, and you won't get your traditional 30 or 40 hour story, which would be very disappointing, to be honest with you. And at that point, I'm not buying it. I don't care what music they have. But let's start first with Web Dave. You like that, Mag? I know you like that.
That's awesome.
Web Dave.
Yes, sir.
These numbers are ridiculous, but
they are.
But people really do dig GTA. It is a brand that keeps on giving. It makes. I know there's been a lot of talk of, well, Take-Two's the next one to get off the board. They don't need anyone's money because they are making money on their own. And when you consider that the last Grand Theft Auto didn't released in 2013, and now we're in 2022. That is ridiculous. And you know what? Even the old stuff is selling. Well, what are your thoughts on these numbers, Dave?
Well, it definitely is a milestone game. I mean, it's it's been in the charts for a long time. Obviously, they're doing something right if that many people enjoy it. But man, I'm guilty of buying 2 copies, so I'll have to give you that. I bought it for an older system, and then it's like, well, the new systems came out, and I thought, well, I'll get it. Now, obviously, we got the update coming. We'll kind of see what happens with the update. But I enjoy playing it. But man, those numbers are insane, and with the large amount of people that are playing it and that are continuing to buy it, are they dragging their feet on 6? Maybe. Are they maybe, well, they're having so much money come in, they can really take their time and make 6 something extra special? That could be possibly 2. Or they may not even really focused on it yet. But they say they are, but we'll see, I guess.
Indeed, we certainly will. Listen, before I bring Chris in on the conversation, I got to thank M. Richord in the chat. Drops an ridiculous and outrageous $50 super chat, and he says, "Seems like remakes aren't just for movie makers anymore. LOL. People love train wrecks." I think you're right about that. We also had Don Otaku drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, it's not really new players buying it. They keep buying the bundle with the shark cards when it's on sale because it's cheaper than the cards themselves. Wow, I did not even know that. That's pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
Good way of padding out your numbers too.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah, someone else mentioned that about a month ago, saying that that's the workaround that people have for the shark cards.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it also makes sense why the 160 million copies have sold. But you know what? I mean, that's literally. I'm not even going to get into it. I'll let the panel talk about it. Kirby Louise drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Remember that Rockstar somehow didn't have the time to make the trilogy not garbage, but somehow had the time to add support for multi GPU for PCs to their engines." Who uses MGPU these days? Clown World. And he knows
that has gone the way to Dodo Bird. I don't know
why. He knows his stuff.
And that guy, Kirby Louise, is a developer, and he understands. So trust me when I tell you, he knows what he's talking about. Chris, these numbers, I mean, like, they're head scratching for sure. And they just continue to sell. I love. I'm not sure who said it. Resident Evil 8 comes out. It's not my favorite. I can tell you that right now, but for a lot of reasons. But it didn't hit 10 million. But Grand Theft Auto, the Broken Trilogy, did, and they're probably going to sell another 10 or 15 million of it. What are your thoughts on these numbers?
I mean, I was just looking up how much Skyrim sold, and it's like it gets dwarfed by what GTA sold. It's crazy. And I mean, I don't like either one of these games, so that's on me. But I guess it's just brand recognition, right? We had GTA for so long that people are just like, oh, it's a new one, I gotta try it. And I mean, Nintendo does it too, right? They do remakes all the time, and people buy them. It's like, okay.
The original Mario Kart didn't sell as well as the new one, which is bonkers.
I don't know. This makes no sense sometimes. But I mean, people play whatever they enjoy, and more power to them. I'll just keep going with my Game Pass. That's all.
Yeah, you know what? And you can play part of that terrible trilogy in Xbox Game Pass probably for about a month more, and they're going to pull it out, and people are going to go out and buy it. That's how they get you. It's like the Candy Man. It's unbelievable. Here's a little piece of crack, and now you're an addict. That's what happens. Anyway, let's bring it back down. Wandering Dutch. These numbers are preposterous on every level. And they continue to grow, and it makes you wonder whether or not there is a real urgency to release a Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, why would you be racing to eat Grand Theft Auto 5's money? Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's what it is. It's what puts it in more perspective as well is the fact that Minecraft has around about 200 million plus sales at this. Probably about 210 million at this point, and Minecraft's what, like $15 or less, and usually everyone's got it by this point. But obviously that still sells. But that's such a far less expensive game than its variant GTA, which is now at 160 million copies sold. What was probably half of that, maybe it's around $40 to $50, and then the other half, you're talking maybe it's $20, $30. Which now they all include shark cards. So every time somebody buys the game, they get shark cards. The Ultimate Edition's like 20 quid with a top tier shark card, whale shark, whatever it's called. It's absolutely insane. And to them, they're in absolutely no rush to get this out. So I wouldn't yes, they've said GTA 6 is in development, but God, that could mean anything. We know what development cycles are like. In development could mean, we've just started writing. Like we've literally just started putting pen to paper.
It's funny you say that, Dutch, because I kind of want to try to just twist this to the seriousness of the conversation. Dan Houser, one of the founders of Rockstar, literally the father of Grand Theft Auto, left a couple of years ago, and he didn't leave on good terms. There was a lot of creative differences going on with Take-Two and them wanting more money if they didn't already have enough. His brother did stay behind. His brother is currently working on Grand Theft Auto 6. One of the things we were talking about in the green room, and I'll kind of pass this along to the rest of the panel, is that we could have easily seen a mass exodus when Dan left, and we just don't know that because obviously they kept some things under wraps. Do you have concerns for GTA 6 without Dan Houser there?
Yes, but you know where it is, and specifically the reason we've got to think about this is GTA all the way up until 5, and including 5, Dan Houser was there, and he was creating these great GTA story worlds. Whether that your favorite was the original GTA's all the way up till 3, which was the top-down perspective and things like that. Oh, sorry, all the way up till 2 in London, GTA London, and all that stuff. Which was the top-down perspective, really completely different to what it is these days. And then you had GTA 3, San Andreas, then you had GTA 4, then GTA 5, where it was these big open worlds with interactivity and jobs to do and places to go and cars, and far different. But his main thing was creating these stories for these characters and creating this world and this mad world that you kind of live in and do. And I think what pushed him out ultimately was Take-Two's insistence to focus on the online. Because originally their plans were to expand the story for GTA's campaign, so essentially have additional missions for the campaign and additional things to do in the actual campaign, and that never saw the light of day.
That's a shame too, because GTA's 5 story was really great.
It was my favorite in the series, to be fair.
Isn't that this the first GTA with no expansion on the story? Everyone before them have had story expansion, right?
Yeah. All of them did.
Yep.
And that's I think that's the primary reason for him going, is because the creative difference was they weren't being creative. It was just, let's focus on the online. That's the money spinner. Ignore the campaign. And we've seen them unfortunately do exactly the same with RDR2. The campaign was absolutely phenomenal. It was critically acclaimed across the board. It's a phenomenal game with RDR2, but the online's absolutely crap the bed. And because of that, they've just went, well, let's just ignore RDR2 altogether and just pretend it doesn't exist. We're not going to do anything with that now. Let's just focus on GTA. So I don't blame them for leaving. If it's a case of you think that you're not going to be taken seriously and your work is no longer as valued as the online section of the game, which has nothing to do with you, then move on, create something better somewhere else, and put your talents to better use. So I think 6 is going to be something entirely different. They're going to have to get some serious writers on there to make anything of that of the next one. But I'm of the mind that they're probably going to do some kind of hybrid campaign / online where it's intermingled at the same time. But yeah, there is definitely concerns over this, but I don't foresee the game personally coming out for at least another 5 years.
And you know what? We laugh, like we would laugh about that, but that's actually a reality. And I have a strong suspicion that because they might have lost a significant amount of talent, and honestly, there really is no urgency to release a 6 because 5 keeps selling, and this garbage trilogy keeps selling. Let's just break down the numbers on a smaller, and I'll hand this right off to Keasante. In December, Grand Theft Auto 5, 5.1 million. October to December, or October to now, 10.1 million copies. That's 15.1 plus million copies of an old game, 4 old games. Do you have some brand new AAA games that haven't sold that much? You know what I'm saying? And so again, if Dutch is onto something and they don't release it for 5 years, people are probably going to still keep buying it because they keep updating the Grand Theft Auto Online, which is a big attraction. What are your thoughts on these numbers? And do you have concern for 6?
Yeah, all good points so far by the panel. Even in the chat, as Kirby Louise says, these guys are a bunch of greedy. Insert your expletive of choice. They are what Activision Blizzard is before we found out about all the ridiculous working conditions in addition to their greediness. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know anything else beyond that, but they seem to have that same mentality. And that's the reason why they have ground their studios into a fine GTA pulp, and that's all they do these days. So yeah, we shall see. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, but I blame us as well as them on this one, because even me, who's sitting here finger waving, I bought 2 copies. So there you go. I bought 2 copies, and then the Epic Game Store decided to give me a free copy on PC.
Son of a gun.
Hey. And by the way, when we're having this discussion, Mr. Everborn Saga has nothing to say because he's
got nothing to say. He stays silent in that corner down there with no camera.
Guess what? I'm not out here buying this trilogy.
Calm yourself.
I'm not in that 10 million number because I have scruples.
Yeah, sure. We'll ask you how many games you've double dipped on. We'll get there. But in general, I think this is, it's par for the course for money making entities, as we say on this show, right? They're there to make the money, and as long as they keep making that money, they don't feel the need to iterate or get better or anything like that, right? And yeah, even the terrible mobile versions of the remakes that were released still sold like gangbusters. So what are you trying to tell them? Obviously, you're trying to tell them that you like the way that the thing goes. It is what it is, right? As far as the next version of it, yeah, I'm on the same boat as Dutch, man. I think this will be a Destiny-like hybrid. Start getting your bingo cards and your drinking cups out ready with NFTs. You started it. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be riddled with all of the ridiculousness that you've come to expect from 2022 and beyond. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about it because, say what you will. Some people like it, some people don't. I was saying this to the panels before. Those games have systems beyond like compare. Most games show you, there's a kid on a bike riding his bike while in the background while your story is playing. In GTA, you can literally go take his bike and ride around yourself. You can decide to become a paraglider and just go paragliding for the rest of your damn life in that game, not even touching the actual main story. They spend a lot of time, complicated systems upon systems upon systems that generally don't have anything to do with the main reason why you're there to, Grand Theft and Auto and all of that, right?
You could go play a round of golf, Asante.
That's right. You
Like
can play a round of
18
golf.
holes.
That's right. Exactly. And you can do that with friends to the point where that's all you do. That is your favorite golf game for some reason. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why it would take so long for them to iterate on that, because it takes a while. And usually they have some really, really like biting satire things to say, usually about America. It is what it is. But it's funny. Sometimes it goes a little too far. All that is appreciated in the world of creativity. But it seems like that creative juice is being wrung out of the franchise. So
100%.
We shall see. I'm a little worried about it. Will I try it? Of course I will. Obviously I will. I consider, and as greedy as they are and as ridiculous as it all has been, I consider GTA 5 the Catcher in the Rye of gaming. It's a required viewing. It needs to be viewed by all. So it is very special in that way. So whenever they iterate on it or they give us a new version, I will reluctantly partake and see what happens. Am I there day one all excited? We shall see. If it's under Microsoft's banner, maybe, but we shall see.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's going to be interesting to see how many of these PS5 and Xbox Series X versions sell. I would imagine they're going to sell probably well. I believe they are still full price. And if they are, and they come with a bunch of shark cards or whatever else, it's going to be $76.43 here in New York for the PlayStation 5, $1,672 in Canada. Speaking of Canada, the Mag, listen, we know how you love buying very high priced games in your region of the world.
It's his favorite pastime.
Yeah,
loves it.
What are your thoughts on these numbers, dude? Like, who doesn't already have this game?
Well, here's the thing. We already discussed the fact that a lot of people are using it as a workaround in order to get more shark cards because it comes with those packages, whatever. So it's actually cheaper to buy the game again and then utilize those shark cards for whatever they use it for. I don't know, buy a new boat or buy a new condo or whatever in the online and stuff. But here's the thing. What I'm happy about, I'm looking at this as a positive, and I'll tell you why. I'm looking at this as a positive because it gives me hope. Hear me out. It gives me hope, considering the subject matter of these games, that the cancel culture is not actually the norm. That the politically correct social media is not the norm. People still want hookers and cocaine and violence and blood and racial slurs and everything that GTA brings. And you know what the thing is? I'm not saying like that all those things are great. I'm just saying
no, but people,
you know what it is?
People tune in for those things, dude. You're onto something.
I'm telling you, man, it doesn't let up. And if you play GTA 5, even I was a little shocked by some of the language and some of the stuff that goes on. Even the
Trevor
racial
was
stuff
brilliant.
That goes on.
Trevor is brilliant.
Yeah, like Trevor.
You was really great. Trevor actually, Mike.
Yeah, all of them are incredible. But I was blown away by the fact that they kept, like, even now these days, I'm like, I'm amazed they didn't censor this or censor that or censor this, because you could check out the game right now, and a lot of stuff they talk about is stuff that you wouldn't hear anymore. They don't make movies like Boys in the Hood
There's
anymore,
nothing like the mission to defend the meth lab.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. It gives me hope knowing that there are a lot of people out there who do enjoy that kind of 80s and 90s style entertainment. And let's face it, that's pretty much what it is still, right? Because other than that, it's pretty much lost and everything is sort of washed and clean and it's not dirty anymore, right? And I don't know what GTA 6 is going to be like, but my God, let me tell you something. The backlash, if they go back and they start to make it a little too squeaky clean, they're dead. And I think they know they're dead. So they're going to have to I
want to follow up on that when you mentioned about squeaky clean. I read something today, actually, and it was very intriguing. It has to do with Tencent. And obviously, we're mentioning Tencent here now because, of course, one thing we don't want is the likes of Take-Two being taken over by Tencent.
You talking about the Fight Club thing?
Yes, I am. They literally cut out the entire ending to Fight Club, changed it, and just put the authorities won.
Yep. They're like the police won. That was the end of the story. Thank you for watching.
Like
Wow.
no explosions, nothing. They deactivated the bomb, foiled the plot, and the authorities won. That's it.
Yep.
That ended the film.
Can you imagine?
Like,
This
what?
is what I'm afraid of, Dutch. And for
That's
anybody
what
else who didn't
Tencent
know
did.
about that, yes, I was very well aware of that. I follow these guys, Midnight's Edge. They're Hollywood guys and whatever. Anyway, the point is that like I said, this gives me hope that they're not going to be able to censor this stuff. And then the thing is, they're going to have to walk that tightrope now, because if they go too dirty, they could get in a lot of trouble, which is still good, because you know why? Let's face it, bad news is still exposure, right? It's still good news in one way or another. And the other reason, and the other thing is, you do not want to upset the literally hundreds of millions of fans who are expecting a certain level of ridiculousness when it comes to GTA games.
Yeah.
And then if you start giving like levels like, go save Cecilia's lamb from the tree or something stupid like that, like something that you would find in a Paw Patrol game, it's over. You are going to bury the series. So they're going to have to find a way to not upset everybody, but at the same, you know what I'm saying? So they're going to have to do that. Now,
yeah, the lamb has to be on meth at this point.
yeah, exactly. And by the way, I'm coining something right now. The new TT games is not Traveler's Tales or anything else. It's Terrible Trilogy. That's what Boom has coined this evening. The Terrible Trilogy TT game.
That's right.
I love it. Now, by the way, on a side note, anybody in the chat makes fun of this gigantic mug that I've been drinking out of all night for the last 2 weeks. Please give it a rest and send a super chat to Boom. Please support this channel. Anyways, here's the thing.
Quick question for you. To your point about the idea of them not censoring stuff. What if they do exactly what you want? They don't censor, right? You get all the crazy jazz you want. You get Trevor 2.0. But then there are some parts of the game you can't travel to, or some buildings you can't buy because somebody bought it with an NFT in real life and it belongs to them.
Even still with this Tencent thing and Fight Club, even though they've restored the ending now, they've still chopped off all of the nudity. Everything's gone apart from like they've just restored the ending because of backlash. Yeah, because a lot of people in China had already watched the original illegally, and they were just like, "What? Why? Why are you changing it?"
It's unbelievable. But see, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of like giving these companies, which they already have, let's face it, way too much power. However, let me rein this back in here. I got a couple more things to say before I pass off the mic to Everborn, who is definitely the fraud of the panel tonight. Because what the hell is he going to say? Well, I saw it on YouTube. Anyways, speaking of Everborn,
I didn't even do that. That's the worst part about it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to throw some pot shots right at Everborn right now. What I'm a little bit afraid of, you guys talked about how Dan Houser left. And I'm a little bit concerned only because of this. First of all, I'm not 100% concerned because his other brother, if I'm not mistaken, his brother's still there, is he not?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so he's still there. However, we also got a Matrix 4 with only one of them. Okay, when the other one left, and we saw how that's a.
There will be no Matrix slander on this show, sir.
With the Matrix,
there'll be none of that.
That's why I just threw the grenade in the room. Let's see who jumps on.
You didn't throw a grenade in a room. You farted in an elevator and you walked out.
And I walked out. I love the Matrix. I actually really enjoyed the Matrix 4, except for the conflict. Now here's the thing. Let's get into the thing. I'm not concerned about it being like an online only or like GTA 6. We're going to talk about that quickly, about an online only kind of thing or whatever. Let's face it, guys. Rockstar's bread and butter, besides obviously the GTA Online thing, I'm not talking financially. I'm talking about their pedigree, is still storytelling. Okay? Their games have all had incredible stories. The fact that I can still... 16 years later, I could still say Lance Van's Dance and people know what I'm talking about. Means the story.
I'm sorry.
You didn't play Vice City?
He didn't play any GTAs. He hasn't played one in a long time.
Okay, well, Vice City was a masterpiece. So let me tell you something.
Vice City is a masterpiece. That's why I'm hoping they bring 6 to.
Exactly. And the thing is that you talk about the Lance Fans Dance, that means good storytelling. I remembered that 16 years later. By the way, DLC, greatest DLC of all time, The Ballad of Gay Tony.
Yes.
One of the greatest DLCs I've ever played from GTA 4. And that, by the way, that reminds me, the reason why it's GTA 5 is the only one without DLC is because they poured everything into their online. Whereas every single GTA before this had 0 online, right?
Yeah.
So there it is. That's your answer. But what they are doing is they're integrating little stories and heists, which are very, very intricate, by the way. about like how to plan them, get your crew together, everything else. It's pretty amazing stuff. I don't do it because I'm just so far behind. I didn't even bother. But anyways, there's that. And then the other thing I was gonna say quickly is the reason why it keeps selling the way it does. My kids, who are obviously not allowed to play GTA 5. I mean, they're only 9 and 6, okay? But if you go online on YouTube, even kids YouTube, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's these big gaming YouTubers like Sunday. I don't know if you guys know about that dude. And then there's another one, Slogo Man. These are big time YouTubers, okay? They're GTA, and what they do is they play GTA Online with their friends, and like they superimpose themselves in front of it, like in the corner, and they're just like laughing and talking, and you hear the other guys. It's kind of like, their shtick, whatever, right? They get 130 to 140 million views per video.
Jesus Christmas.
Okay, boom. When you get 1,000 likes, aren't you like ready to kick open the front door of your apartment?
Dude,
and just, like,
I
scream
have
at the street?
837 videos in total. I'm closing in on the 1,000. I think I only have, I don't know, 10 videos that have 1,000 likes.
Okay. So here's it. When I watch these guys, I see Sunday this guy Sunday come on or whatever. My kids are watching while I'm making them breakfast or something, right? And the guy goes, "Hey guys, it's Sunday again. Here again. We're gonna be playing some GTA Online, and let's get those likes up because we only got 75 million likes on my last video." And I'm like, 75 million. I dropped the eggs on the counter, and I'm like, did he just say 75 million likes? We're fighting for 500 or 600 likes. I go in there, and they, lo and behold, these GTA Online videos are getting
such a great story.
Dude, it's so funny, but it's so true.
I'm gonna go pack up this podcast right now.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Boom. We're gonna start playing GTA Online tonight.
A quick aside, there's 333 people here, only 122 likes.
Okay.
Devastated.
Guys, we're taking down
Chop,
Sunday and Slogo Man tonight. I want 75 million likes by the end of this week. But anyway,
you got it.
That is why they sell the way they do.
Yeah.
And then my son, who's 9, says, "Daddy, can I play GTA?" And I said, absolutely. Absolutely not.
It's funny that the kids are always testing because my beautiful and amazing nephew is always he's poking. He's like, "Hey Theo, Grand Theft Auto." I'm like, "Hey, you're 13. Good luck."
Yeah, and he's 13. That's cusp for me. 9, but why? Boom. Because they see their favorite YouTubers playing it. And then when they do get to a point, or their parents just don't care, then they're playing it. And the exposure is unbelievable. I have never seen videos with 140 million likes other than Gangnam Style from like 15 years ago or whatever it was. Okay? Like these videos are unbelievable. And I'm like, and that's why they sell so much, because now they're not attracting like the 40s and 50-year-old guys and the 30-year-old guys and gals. Okay, they're now attracting the 8 to 10-year-olds who are coming up. When GTA 6 eventually comes out, you can bet your bottom dollar that my son will be playing it day one because you'll probably be 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Right? So this is who they're marketing to now. And that is where I see it going. And that's why the numbers are so high.
Well, you know what? Let me bring in Everborn. Let's get his opinion on whether or not he thinks that really not so much because he didn't play the game. That's fine. It's just not his big cup of tea. Everborn, all jokes aside, Dan Houser, it was a big part of Grand Theft Auto. That's a fact. That's not a suggestion. That's not an opinion. That's straight up. He was one part and a hugely important part, especially in the storytelling. He's gone. Do you have concerns for 6?
No, I don't have concerns for 6 because you sick people just bought 10 million copies of a mobile trilogy. So I think it's going to be fine. But more seriously, no, I think they're going to be fine because I do think they are, at least from what I hear, because, it's like drugs. I don't touch the stuff, right? But with some of the story content that they drop and expansions that they drop in GTA 5, a lot of people seem to like that. And a lot of people post those things and they know how to create a world that people want to spend a lot of time in. Now, whether the narrative of the main campaign is going to be good or not, I have no idea. But my question is, does it need to be? Right? Like, this is GTA Online is like, all of these people are talking about metaverse, like, and making it like Ready Player One. Like, GTA Online kind of is that. They've really created a world, right? So I think just to be able to see it I mean, I'm not going to play it, but just to be able to see what they can do, because they've always been very forward leaning with technology. And as I understand it, a lot of people when GTA 5 came out, they thought, wow, this is amazing. And if GTA 6 looks anything like the mods that I've seen with ray tracing and things like that for GTA 5, I think we're going to be in for a treat. And a world where any character or any NPC, you could just follow them home and see what they do and then go live a whole second life. I think it's going to be interesting. And again, if he did his job, right, his replacement is up to speed on what he has done. None of these things are made by a single person. Like, we hear the big name, right? But great leaders, they are great because they work with an amazing team, and they know how to manage that team, and they know how to empower the right people. So if he has empowered the right people, I think they're going to be in good hands.
And you know what? Great way to close out topic number one, folks.
But stop playing the damn game. Sorry.
But one thing that we need to end off on is the idea of it being GTA 6. Yeah, please fix those mechanics. The shooting is terrible.
It has been terrible for years.
Terrible. Please update that. I'm sorry. Continue.
No, 100%. Listen, real quick before we move on to topic number 2, and this is the Knucklehead of the year topic, which I have a real problem with, because listen, before I give my spiel, let me read some of the super chats. First of all, Gamer by Choice, generous friend of the show, he drops a $5 super chat and says, I am fearful of GTA going forward because of the political correctness out there. I mean, GTA's made fun of everyone today. That may be hard to do, and I think you might be onto something with that. But it is Rockstar, it is GTA, and they seem to get away with pretty much anything. We'll see. Cold Weeb drops a $5 super chat and says, I got the Regella edition of Horizon Forbidden West. I wanted the statue and collectibles. Hey, congratulations on that, brother. I got that pre-ordered as well. I'm getting it directly from PlayStation or Sony, of course, and I actually can't wait for that game. It's gonna be the first time I turned on my PlayStation 5 in quite a bit, and I really gotta play Sifu. I've been hearing some great things. I heard it's hard as balls, but I'm willing to drop the money and support that studio because the game just looks incredible. TK Chillin drops an outstanding and very generous $20 super chat and says, hi guys, great discussion. Well, strap yourself in there, brother, because we're going to get into it right now. Listen, this past weekend, the entire interweb was set into complete turmoil over a knucklehead, an embarrassment to himself and many others, named Adam Khan, because that's what he is, over. Apparently, he is a comedian. Now, I've never heard of this dude. And according to his Twitter profile, he's a curious comedian exploring the weirdest and wildest reaches of human knowledge, creator and host of the Adam Ruins Everything, and I've never heard of it. Listen, folks, here's the thing. This is where I get on my high horse. If you have an opinion that differs from mine, understand that is perfectly okay. Okay, that is your opinion. We are not all going to agree, whether that be on something for Xbox, something for PlayStation, something for Nintendo. But there are certain times where when you are putting an opinion out there as a matter of fact, and you are lying, straight up lying for clicks, is where I have a monster problem. And I normally don't like to I don't dip my toe into this kind of shenanigans because it's stupidity. And I do not want to help promote stupidity, because everyone on this panel, whether the size of the show or not, works real hard to deliver content that people are going to want to watch, and they watch it and they come back for it because it's factual and because we have honest conversations. Yes, we do throw some jokes in there, but for the most part, the message that we're putting out there is that we want to entertain, but we also want to entertain with facts. You know, numbers you can have an opinion on a game, but the numbers don't lie. Perfect example, the whole GTA conversation we have. Well, this guy went on a rant, and not surprising on TikTok, one of the worst things you can do because it just supports stupidity. And he went on to say a whole lot of things about how Microsoft is going to turn into this mustache twirling villain like they were in the 90s, where they bought up all these things and they ruined whatever they put their hands on, and it's complete BS. And my tweet to him when I saw the stupidity, I said this: having an opinion and doing a video as a matter of fact with information that is false is reckless AF. The fake "I'm worried about the industry" is total bullshit, pardon my French. And I continued saying that they're undercutting, and these are his words, undercutting and monopolizing the industry Amazon style, again, is lying for clicks. Hashtag just saying. I have to go immediately to Mag on this because Mag, you have an incredible following because you do these funny videos. Right. And we all know that they're not serious. We all know that they are in jest. You talk about it. You've on numerous podcasts. Hey, folks, it's all jokes. You don't take anything too serious. Well, this guy, Adam Conover, was serious. And he was so serious that he got on his political high horse and tried to make this everything that it is not. And clearly everything he said was a stone-faced lie. And it's, you know, I want to know from your opinion what your thoughts are.
Well, first of all, I was going to make a video about this guy. I was going to dress up like him and everything, and I was going to do a complete parody of it with the fake hair. Like I had a wig and everything. I got a whole bunch of wigs and stuff.
Were you going to shake your head in the camera?
Yeah, I was going to do I was going to do a whole thing. The problem was life got involved and said, "Hey, Mag, guess what? You're really busy this week." And so I never had a chance to actually just sit down and kind of hash it out in my brain. I was being pulled in every direction. So I missed the boat. When it comes to comedy, man, if you missed it, like, it's all about the timing, right? So I was a couple days too late, and I said, you know what? Forget it. It's over. I'll catch the next ridiculous thing because, you know, by next week, there'll be something else stupid that shows up on Twitter or YouTube or whatever, right? So I'll be right there waiting for you guys. But anyway.
No, I need you to listen to Kermit the Frog and do it. No. The just go ahead. Just you should do it.
Sorry,
that's all I'm saying.
Got it in my head now. Anyways, and when it comes to this, the thing is, and this is something we've discussed before on this show, we've discussed that, you know, even privately, when you have, and this is something that even applies to me. I know it sounds ridiculous, okay? I'm nowhere near as big as that guy, but when you have a certain amount of people following you, and it's not just your auntie and your two friends, you have to be careful what you say and how you say it.
Oh, dude, he's on the verge of being unbelievably reckless because, like I said, he is putting out information that is, in fact, just straight up lying.
Right. And he's basically creating a culture of fear. And, you know, like, oh, this is what's going to happen. This is what Microsoft's going to do. He's going to do this and this. There's a big boogeyman in the closet. This 90s Microsoft is coming out of the grave and coming to get you. Right. And I'm like, guys, this is not what's happening now. And the problem is, and this is the problem, a lot of people do this. A, they don't read. B, they don't know how to read. All right. And the problem is they don't understand how evolution seems to work in terms of like companies, in terms of like product, in terms of people, personalities. Yes, you don't change as a person. However, you do evolve based on your experiences through life. Like, for example, Microsoft. You'd be amazed how many people out there still think that the Microsoft now is that evil 90s Microsoft that was there to bury everybody.
You'd be surprised how many people think Bungie owned Halo.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that too.
I mean, we're not going to get into that. That's
exactly
that's
right.
scary.
But it's true. It's amazing how people do not. And so now this guy, he's going on and on and on and making it sound like Microsoft. And actually, by the way, he's not the only one. I've heard some other podcasts and stuff where people are saying the same thing. Microsoft's going to take Activision and then lay everybody off and shut it down. Right. So they're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, are you guys completely tone deaf as to what's actually going on? They have literally come out and said, and not only said, they've actually proven it through actions that they have created a culture of growth, okay, of acceptance. No one's locked out. Men, women, people of all races, colors, creeds, religions, all working together.
Yep.
And what did they do? They said, go out there. Here's the money. We got the money, okay? We're the big dogs. We got the money. Go out there and be creative. That's what they said to these people. They're not laying them off. They're hiring more.
Mag, you got to understand. It's all a part of the long con. They've spent $100 billion.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They've gotten rated #1 place to work in the world. They pay the highest salaries in the industry.
That's right.
Just so they could get Activision and take Call of Duty away and then fire everyone.
And then they're going
to shut the doors down and kill the whole industry.
Exactly. Yeah.
All a part of the long con.
I love it. That's
like,
great.
Are people this? I know, like, I understand people have blind hatred. Like, there's people out there that are so insanely stupid. Not even just in video games. There's people in movies. There's people with people. Let's face it. There's people with people. You know, if someone looks different than you, they just hate them just because they look different or whatever, right? Or they are different. They come from a different place. It's the same thing in here. I'm all applying it to the same thing. People hate Xbox. People hate Microsoft for absolutely no discernible reason. No logic involved. They just hate for no reason. And everybody thinks that all they're going to do is take, consolidate, liquidate, and destroy. But what they're not seeing, and the fact that the CEO of the company and the now CEO of Microsoft Gaming have literally come out and said, hi, guys, we're the guys in charge right here. Hi, see us? Okay. Here's a bunch of testimonials from all the other devs that have already been working with us since 2017. And have you guys seen all those testimonials? What have they all said? The same thing. Microsoft has allowed us to do whatever we want, to be as creative as we want, gave us all our freedom. In fact, we've been able to have more money, more R&D, and more staff than we've ever had. And they've given us more support than anybody has ever done in our entire careers. What
and we put out
F
Game of
do
the
you
Year's
need?
contenders.
And Shinji Mikami's just come out and said that as well, actually, for Tangle Gameworks. He said,
there you go.
If anything, like they're always offering support and help.
So this is what I'm saying. If you can't see what they're actually doing, if you don't understand their game plan, if you don't see, A, you're not informed. B, you don't give a shit what Microsoft's ever going to do. So you might as well just pack it up, shut your mouth, and go back to doing whatever you're playing. Okay? Whether it's your Switch or your PlayStation. Just fine. It's cool. There's no problem with that. But just don't talk smack about the other side of the coin. Okay, when they're trying to do something positive and creative for the industry to move the industry forward, because let's face it, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you play on, none of them would still be here and the innovation wouldn't be here without Xbox, because there wouldn't be an Ethernet port in the back of those machines. There wouldn't be a hard drive inside of there. You'd still be paying $130 for an effing cartridge. Okay.
Well, I mean, you're paying $175 for a game, so there really is no difference.
Yeah, no kidding, right? There wouldn't be on. No kidding. Thanks, Boom. There wouldn't be online. You wouldn't be asking Alexa for blueberry pancakes. Okay. All of these things came from Xbox and from Microsoft, and they're the ones who continue to innovate and push the industry forward. Everybody else just plays they just play the lame game, is what I call it. They just play the imitation game. Right? And then they just do it like that. But anyways, that's my point. My point is that if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and if you're not well informed and you're not educated on the subject, it's best you just shut your mouth.
100%. You know, and Everborn, I want to bring you into the conversation, and we'll get our fine guests in here because you didn't get a chance to really speak too much on the GTA 5 thing. You know, one of the things that pissed me off about this, there were actually quite a few things that pissed me off, is he brought up the workers, all the workers. And I see, look, being ex-law enforcement, I'm always going to fight for good folks. That's just, listen, G.I. Joe is why I became a cop. Like, real American hero. I'm trying to help as many people as I cross my path. I did that as a cop. I do that as a content creator. And one of the things that almost was left out of every conversation, besides Call of Duty being exclusive, not being exclusive, was the human element on how Microsoft's culture was going to deliver an amazing place for people who worked under the devil for a whole mess of their career. That's going to change now. And that's going to change because Phil Spencer is the one that's being reported to. Like, you will report to Emperor Vader. And you will like it. And if you don't like it, well, then you're going to get out. And listen, we heard right after the deal was announced that over 30 pink slips were given out, right? Almost instantaneously. And they're probably still firing people that are involved in this shenanigans. When he said that, and he tried to make it, the poor workers are now going to be under Microsoft without bringing up to the fact that they were just working under the devil, it just proves to me that he is completely full of it. Where do you fall on what this knucklehead had to say?
So, I mean, there's a lot of layers to this because I think a lot of people are zealots that don't realize they're zealots, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens is they, like you said, Mag, they have a gut feeling that they just don't know. They just don't like Microsoft, right? And this is why they frame every discussion around the thing or the company that they do like, right? And I mean, the irony of that is that it is just as weird to concern troll and poo-poo everything all the time and come to the defense of your favorite company as it is to fanboy about the opposite, the company that you like, right? So this is a lot of people that I don't know if they're like Apple guys that hate Microsoft because Apple marketing told them to, or it's people that just remember the evil Microsoft of the 90s, whatever it is. Or some people that, maybe their head is so far up Sony's ass that they just don't like Xbox. And so you'll see them frame discussions about the way you're supposed to grow, which always aligns with exactly the way Sony does things. So you have to ask yourself, when they set their moral compass, are they setting that for themselves, or are they looking at what their favorite plastic box maker does and then deciding that is what is right and good and just, right? So that's the context that we come to this in, right? Now, when we specifically talk about Adam Conover and his statements there, I think he's a PlayStation fan, and I don't think he's like. I mean, I've never seen him talk about anything in the community before this, right? So, maybe he really doesn't understand this, right? I know he has staff writers for his show that explain things to him, and then he comes out to mansplain it to everybody else. But I think he just heard, oh my God, Microsoft is buying Activision. What does that mean? And I'm a Sony guy, so he did his shtick. That's the way you say that, right? Towards this thing. The problem is none of it made any sense, and you could argue that Tik Toc is not conducive to making any sense because how many seconds are those videos that you can post there?
Yeah, it was like 15 seconds.
How can you make any point in 15 seconds, right? So it is too succinct, and it leaves out points. And I said this over the weekend. He said, phase 1, Microsoft buys Activision. Phase 2, phase 3, it's bad for workers. What is phase 2? How do you square that circle that this becomes bad for workers? Because as far as I see it, the workers at Activision Blizzard King are not very happy right now.
Right.
And as far as I know, if you look at the pay scales for QA testers and those and engineers there, they're getting paid more at Microsoft. And as far as I know, Microsoft is consistently in the top 5 or top 10 and sometimes top 3 places to work in the world.
That's right.
Right? So at what point are we saying that this is going to be bad for workers? That is a straw man, and it is a boogeyman, because people try to attach logic to their emotions, right? So what happens is he was emotional and he tried to find words to put behind it, but really it's just tears. Sodium flavored tears, which I happen to love to drink. So what I say is, please cry more. There's nothing you can do. The biggest issue I had with Adam Ruins Everything, well, he didn't ruin Game Pass, but I'm going to hear he provided talking points for Twitter and in Twitter Spaces for the next 18 months until this thing closes. And a bunch of people are going to clip that or jigger the words and present them as original thoughts, and they're going to pretend that they have a point, that there is some moral high ground here. This is business. It's not show friends. And last I checked, right, Activision came to Microsoft after they came to them barefoot and hungry after Facebook turned them down, right? So what all of these people are saying is, hey, Activision, company who was supposed to be too big to fail, right? They now are looking at failure because Call of Duty was down 37% in sales, right? They're facing lawsuits with employees, and they're facing criminal probes with DOJ in California, right? So the allegedly too big to fail company failed, and now they had to be bought when they at one time were worth probably $100 billion, right? If you wanted to buy them, Microsoft bought them on the cheap, right? So what people would rather happen is Activision go out of business,
or be bought up by Tencent, for that matter.
Right. So long as Microsoft didn't get them.
Yes,
because
exactly.
God forbid Sony actually have to compete for the dollars that the $70 that you're happy to give them. So you will see more of this and more of it until the deal goes through. And I also would like to point out, we've heard the same end of the world argument when Bethesda was purchased, and now you don't hear it anymore because all of this is in the moment, and it will go on until Microsoft is officially the owner on paper and tells you are not getting any more Call of Duty mainline entrances. Mm-hmm. You can desire whatever the F you want, right? But we desire you to get Game Pass, right? Yes. So when that happens, give that a couple of months and people will just be used to it and accept it. And that's it.
And then then next year they'll buy Capcom, and then the world is over.
They'll buy Sega. Slow down. Okay. But again, like, this is just something you're gonna have to
on the bingo card.
And people are going to say this until their minds get used to it. What stage of depression are we in at this point?
Probably stage 3, I want to say.
So, we'll get to acceptance. This is it. Like, who cares? Right?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Is it seem to you and anybody else on this panel, whatever, that when this Bungie deal, which I think is like not a big deal at all,
no, not at all.
Does it feel like people have really, really tried to really hoist this up as the greatest effing thing to ever happen?
Yep.
Because almost to compensate for what whatever Born's talking about here, almost to compensate for this Activision Blizzard situation. Does that make any sense to you guys? You see what I'm saying? It almost seems 100%. Like they're kind of over advertising it.
The fact is, and especially some Sony guys assumed this was some kind of backlash for that, and people were just very thankfully very quick to point them out. No, listen, guys, this stuff isn't a 2-week job. It's not. You don't just go out and spend $3.5 billion on a company and get it closed immediately. That's not how this works. That stuff's been going on for a while. If anything, that was a backlash for or if not, a reaction to the Bethesda deal. Nothing more.
Well, to your point though, Dutch, I yes, it was the beginnings was a reaction, maybe, but I think they knew that they were light in the service-based game, and I think the terms of this deal, with Bungie's freedom and retaining their IP ownership and creative freedom and the price tag, that was a reaction to the Activision thing,
100%,
because they were just like, we got to get this deal done. We can't afford to have another thing off the board. But just one more thing about Adam, and what I found, he is a comedian, because this was hilarious. His argument is that Microsoft is providing a service that is so good that it's going to put everybody else out of business. How dare they?
Yeah.
How dare they provide a service that people want at an affordable price? And his argument is that you should be happy to spend $60 and $70 on your game.
Yeah,
the man with the TV show is shaming people for going to a service that is more affordable to them. Because God forbid you don't put another mortgage on your house to go and make Sony even richer.
Yeah, yes, that's a great point, dude. Listen,
so now I just ruined Adam's argument. But
well, he's a boob anyway. But you know what? I want to bring Chris from 1H1D in on the conversation. And I want to piggyback Chris off exactly what everyone just said. Besides this guy just being a complete embarrassment to himself, and he literally should delete the video because it was ridiculous with the head shaking and the hair. It just was like he was having a conniption live on the air. And I don't want to say that's all Sony fans when this deal is finally done, but it could very well be. The seriousness is that Microsoft quietly and politely have figured out a way to not only offer a gamer multiple choices of where they want to game, whether that be on your console, later this year on your TV, even your older consoles can take advantage of the cloud. So you don't have to buy, because maybe you can't afford to buy a new console because paying for your child's school or groceries or, I don't know, the lights, to keep the lights on might just be a little bit important more than Halo Infinite is. And somehow or another, that is lost in this BS conversation, because at $15 or $10 a month, Microsoft has also allowed people who may not be, don't have TV shows, able to be involved in gaming and that conversation by having Xbox Game Pass. And somehow or another, that should be shunned, but we should be propping up 76-43 for a game here in the New York when it comes to PlayStation. What are your thoughts on this Knucklehead's rant?
I will say sheepishly that I did watch his show when it was on the air.
But, and real quick, let me just stop you right there, because Silent Cypher drops a $5 super chat, an additional one. Personally, I think Adam Conover made a big deal about it because his show got canned, and he's trying to still remain relevant. Just my opinion, but please.
Yeah. I mean, so his show got canceled, so this is his way of getting it. I think, I saw that chat too. So it was a very good point. It's just crazy, because I feel like, especially when he talks about the fact that Game Pass is ruining the market, and they're consolidating a lot of development studios, but they're giving these people opportunities to do games and do really interesting stuff that they probably wouldn't have been able to do. And that's what also, I know you guys have talked about it in the past too, but you will be able to see Activision do all the cool stuff that they did before. Before the Call of Duty, before all that Warzone.
The mountain of IP literally left dormant.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's what excites me. The fact that Obsidian was able to make a game called Grounded about kids in a backyard, they basically Honey I Shrunk the Kids, and they were go do it, and it was awesome. Just be able to get that full support of the studio heads to be you can do what you want as long as giving everyone, these developers, the creativity is, I think, it's just a plus for, or a win for everyone. Because I'm not like, I mean, unfortunately, like you look at the stuff that Sony's coming out with, it's always a third person adventure game. Like they're great games,
and I
great
love
stories and
them,
stuff like
but
that.
they are
Yeah.
very samey. Listen,
Yeah.
great looking games, popcorn moments in every one of them, but they are very, very similar in aesthetics. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that's different with Xbox. You have so many different genres of every shape, size, and look.
Yeah, and it's like I just like what they're doing, and like, you know, being able to just play any sort of game, really. Like it's I don't understand why people are kind of like bashing their heads against the wall about this stuff. It just doesn't make sense. But you know, everyone's got their own opinions, and you know, some of them are completely and utterly wrong. But
Yeah,
you know, this is what it is.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and you're definitely onto something. And look, like I said, folks, here's the thing: we're very fair here. I think everybody here on the panel that's a regular panel member, and most of the guests we bring in, I don't think that we are so against someone having an opinion that it's wrong, because an opinion is like something that we all have, and everyone has one, right? So it's okay
They're
to
like
have
a-holes,
and everyone
a
has
lot of them
one.
stink.
I was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
going to
a
say
lot
that.
of them. There you go. I love it. That's fantastic. But this was not that. This was on a matter of fact that I'm right, and you have to listen to what I'm saying, because they are doing this, and I that's why I had to bring this up tonight. Again, may not be the greatest conversation that we've had on PTG, but one I think that was worthy of it. Dave, let's bring you in on the conversation as someone that does interviews and
Yep.
has interviewed me, and you have interviewed quite a few other people, and you intend to continue to do the interviews. Where do you fall on what Adam had to say?
Well, I do have a little bit to say on this one, because
Right, it's a conversational podcast. Go crazy.
Okay, so first I gotta say that Mag was spot on. He was great, good points. Mag, awesome dude. That was
Thank you.
preach it is what I was gonna say while you were talking toward the end there. But the video he did was 3 minutes long, and was spliced all together, and it's clearly he's trying to piss people off, stir things up, get the attention on him. I mean, it worked, because there was a lot of people that viewed it and a lot of people that made comments about it. And in that 3 minutes, he went on a lot of different areas, which you called it, Boom. There was like so many misinformation, false information, flat out. Are you serious? What did you come up with this kind of moments in this little 3 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And the one part that stuck out to me, there was many in the 3 minutes. He started slamming on the all access availability. You were talking earlier about the when you spend your money on Game Pass, is because it is a great value, and makes it affordable. When these consoles first came out, I'm not super rich. I have a very comfortable job, but still, we got other bills and other things to take care of. So
Indeed.
PlayStation 5 came out, the Xbox Series X was coming out. I bought my PlayStation straight out, paid full for it. But the option that Microsoft gave us to use all access,
Yep,
to me is absolutely amazing, because my wife, she wasn't complaining, because she's like, monthly payment, we could do that, and then he made it sound in his video that it was like, or undercutting, they're just trying to make it so that you're so, it's so bad because they're just trying to hurt the other people, and then they're throwing money and making it a loss. Well, no, it's not a loss at all. If you paid like I did, you're paying $34.95 a month.
yep.
Plus the tax is also incorporated in that. So, and for 24 months, and I'm actually paying for interest free, because that's the deal they worked out with, I believe, with Citibank.
Yes.
That you get, you're paying the system off in 2 years, and with that, you're paying for, but you're getting Game Pass, the $14.99 model of Game Pass. Which, to be honest with you, before I bought this and did this program, I was like, okay, I don't really think I need that, but I'll try. I absolutely love it and will never get rid of Game Pass now. Not just because I can play it on my Xbox, but I can now play it on my smartphone, my tablet. It's just, it's available anywhere you want. And hopefully the more things they're going to do with Game Pass in the future are going to grow. But for him to bring it down, because they're not everybody that can.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
One thing. Another point to add with the all access, it's actually cheaper, right? So if you got a Series S, you're going to end up paying $600 throughout the course of the 24 months. But if you bought it at $299 plus paid $15 a month, you'd be paying $659.
That's correct. Right. Yes.
Right. So you're actually not only are you not paying interest, you're saving $60.
Yeah, that's a whole. Just got to pay your tax, whatever your state tax is that you bought it from. And to be honest with you, as soon as my Series X is paid off, then I am going to go redo the program and buy myself the Series S so I can have it in another room. That way, I'll continue to have Game Pass for another 2 years. I was going to do that anyway, so why not just get the system and have a little room for date night.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of where it bothered me the most. I mean, obviously, there was a lot of stupid points he was trying to make, and he's just really not credible. But boy, he can really get under people's skin with his outrageous claims. So
yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great point. I'm actually, you know what? It's funny. I'm glad you brought that up, Dave, because that was something else. As many ridiculous things as he did say, that was the one that was a bit of a head scratcher. Somehow or another, offering the ability to have someone actually own the system and pay it off in time, and that somehow is bad. Kay Asante, you, my friend, I have to go to next. You know that you have a lot to say on this. This is, again, opinions are okay. Lying is wrong. True. And that's exactly what this was. Please take it away.
Yeah, I mean, and the panel has, of course, put it very succinctly, as they usually do. It's just a little ridiculous. Now, I take a different opinion on his motives here. I think he's genuinely being disingenuous with his argument.
Correct.
It's not that he doesn't know any better. He's purposely trying to deceive. And the reason why I say that is because exactly the point that Dave made, right? If you spend a minute looking at it and just calculating up the numbers, very easy math, you'll realize that you save some money, but they're not giving you the console for free. And he ended his conversation saying, well, they don't want to be the Netflix of games. They want to be the Amazon of games. And anyone that knows what Amazon is Amazon relied for a long time on their war chest to basically disincentivize anyone from buying from anywhere else besides them, even if it meant them losing money. Yes. But if you look at what Microsoft is doing here, they're not doing that. They're just giving you a bonus for going with this program. Not only does it help those who can't afford to pay full price up front, it also gives you a bit of an incentive to do so because you save $60 or so in the long run, right? The whole thing with I say he was using that Seinfeld Kramer thing he did on that screen for a while, really, like, look at it. He Kramered all over the screen for a couple of minutes, with the pause indeed. With the head bobbing and the whole thing.
One thing that I would be remiss if I didn't point out, right? Like, we know Sega made a lot of mistakes, right?
Oh, said Sega.
No, just hold on a minute. With the Dreamcast and it being too hard to develop for and all those things, we understand that, right? But let's not pretend Sony didn't take a loss on the PS1 so that because they could afford it.
Well, but that's business. That's
the point. It is business. And people like to attach morality to it when it is convenient. But that is that.
The thing I have with what you're saying there, everyone, is you're attacking the problem from a genuine perspective. And I'm telling you that man is not genuine. He's not. He doesn't mean what he is saying. He's literally saying it to get the attention, right? To get people riled up. But I, on the other hand, think it's good that we attack what he is saying, because much like in other spaces where they throw quote unquote red meat to the base to get people all riled up, it is when you see a Nazi, you smack him on the head and say that's Nazi, right? You have to speak to it so that the few who don't understand the ins and outs of the situation can recognize that and go, hey, that is not true. And that's literally what he's doing here. He does not believe the BS that's coming out of his mouth, right? And if you use genuine arguments, we can all use genuine arguments. Here's some genuine arguments for you, okay? So he's talking about how there's consolidation everywhere, right? Does he know that Sony basically bought their way into gaming? Like, all you need is a quick Google search. There are 10 instances where they bought this and they bought that and then they bought this.
Well,
yeah, they nurtured them.
How about the last 13 months?
Exactly.
They bought
we're not even going to the 13 months. The
was that organic?
The recent time we can chalk that up to fear. Oh, they're afraid that people are buying stuff, so let's buy too. Even when they were the masters of their universe, as long as they have been, PlayStation that is, there are purchases riddled throughout their history. It's not, oh, well, we want a new one, so let's open one. No, they bought Naughty Dog. They bought Gorilla. They bought Insomniac. All of their heavy hitters, both in the past and the present, and many in the future, will be paid for, right? They bought them. And then, of course,
and they shut down the ones that they created.
They shut down a lot of them that they created. Most people don't even remember places like Zipper Interactive, which made some of my favorite Vita games. Shut them down, bought them, and then
they shut down Sony Japan.
Sony Japan,
Japan Studios,
correct?
Japan Studios, 6 months ago.
Exactly.
What the hell's wrong?
They bought them, and Sony Japan Studios they created, but eventually they closed them down and they reorganized them and sent them off to other places. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things have been acquired. It's part of the cyclical nature of the gaming business. Activision Blizzard is an amalgamation of many purchased studios. Many purchased studios. Right now, all you think of when you think of Activision Blizzard is Toys for Bob and Treyarch and all of that. People don't remember Red Octane, Bizarre Creations, Swordfish, Freestyle Games. Like many of these studios that became Activision Blizzard, they are an amalgamation of many bought studios. And because they've been bought and they're now part of Activision Blizzard, it gave room to Annapurna to come out and wow people. And Devolver Digital to come out and wow people. This is the way the business works. Eventually, creativity gives way to business, right? And then those business entities get eaten up by other business entities, leaving room for new creatives to show up. That is the way it's done, right?
It's called realizing the value of your creation. That's where it is realized in the acquisition.
Exactly.
Right?
And if you're a person who's genuinely concerned, right? With some light searches, you can assuage your concerns by seeing that, hey, this keeps happening. And as it keeps happening, and actually even more now than ever before, back in those days when all those consolidation things were happening, it was still very hard to get into gaming. Now, any Tom, Dick, and Harry who has an opinion, like you're calling an a-hole, can literally pick up a PC and get a gaming engine and play around, not even know how to code, and play around and create something interesting if you have that creative juice. So as those business making entities are like sucking up the air from the old market, new markets are being found every single day. New, more interesting things are popping up all the time. Unreal 5 is democratizing things, as is many other game engines. So this is not a real argument to be made. Because if that was a real argument to be made, I should see some Kramering when in 2021, when PlayStation bought up a whole bunch of studios, right? We were talking about acquisition season. It was acquisition season for PlayStation, but you didn't hear, and this is just one example of many, right? You didn't hear the Moriartys of the world come out and go, "This is terrible," right? You didn't hear any of those people speak. It's just when the big bad, when the monster comes out, when you poke him in the eye a million times, it's all good. But the minute he wakes up and goes, what? Now all of a sudden it's not fair. That's what's happening here, right? So, I understand that many people in the chat, and we spoke about this relatively as well over the weekend on my show. And some people are like, well, you don't got to give him air. Give him air. Give him air and flog him in the streets because he deserves to be flogged.
Yes, that's great points. Absolutely. Yeah, honestly, I was a little skeptical of talking about this. I ran it past everybody that's here, and they're like, no, we should talk about this because this is worthy of a conversation, because he's doing more than just fear mongering. He is actually being disingenuous for the fact of that he is a washed up actor. Right, he's a bad actor, as we hear from Phil Spencer, and he is trying to.
Did you just call him a has-been?
I didn't say it, but
it never was. But okay,
well,
continue.
it never was indeed. Wandering Dutch, I am dying to get you in on this conversation because I know that you're going to attack it. Please, by all means, what are your thoughts on what went down this weekend?
Yeah, I was actually quite reserved in my reply to him, actually, but obviously I've been attacking this particular subject, and many of the misinformed and those who like to bend reality to try and make a point from the last couple of weeks. But
real quick, Wandering Dutch. By the way, if you're not following the Wandering Dutch, please do follow him on Twitter, because anytime there's some ish going down, the very next reply is him like dicing people up with the axe. It's just hilarious. Every single time. I don't even I just look right after the right reply, and he's just ripping people to shreds. Please.
No, sometimes I go to reply and I'm like, oh, Dutch already got him.
Oh, yeah, Dutch is always there first.
Dutch, your reply was right on point.
Yeah, it was just basically I kept it short and sweet for this one because I think trying to educate someone like that is just over their heads. My specific reply before I get into the rest of it was, and yet you're so gloriously wide of the mark. Please educate yourself on the sheer size of world developments, studios, developers, and publishers. Tencent of their hands and 900 plus companies now. Embracer 80 plus. MS 32 studios after the acquisition is closed. To further the point on that, though, specifically, some of the key points that I didn't want to dig into, because it was just, honestly, I could have went for ages with this one. He not only attacked MS with a load of his misinformation, but also then put down every other opposing platform in the same sweeping movement.
Yes.
Sony only produces headphones and games.
Yeah, they're just the little gazelle. They just make games. That's all they can really do.
Well, so
even though they're the market leader and all, you know.
Yeah. Just miss out the fact that Spider-Man's one of the most it is, if not one of the most successful movies that has come out in forever.
Yes,
something like close to 2 billion in revenue.
It's closing in, if not already has reached 2 billion. And what's interesting, Dutch, to that point, is that it hasn't even hit digital yet.
Yeah. It's still and it took a while to get even over to China in the first place. To be honest, it started. It's only just starting to go over there to China now. But he also said the same about Nintendo. Nintendo are just doing Nintendo things. They're the market leaders by a long shot. Are they the market leaders? They are. There's even if Microsoft could sweep up most of the market and Nintendo would still destroy. They're in an entire league of their own. I don't know. They've just got a market. Again, it's that name, and this is all about the brand name. Sony have a brand name. PlayStation have a brand name, and it is synonymous with gaming. You can speak to the elder generation for as long as you want. As soon as you mention, "Oh, have you played on your thing? You know, your PlayStation? I play on Xbox." All right, okay. Straight over their heads. Next word, PlayStation. The elder generation just know Nintendo or PlayStation. Nintendo or PlayStation. It's these things that they've heard when they're growing up, the first consoles they've bought people, and that's what they associate with gaming. So to just think that these are two companies that are going to be just disappearing because Microsoft are actually being competitive is completely disingenuous in the first place.
Yes.
On another front as well, talking about Game Pass and the way he does it. A few people have mentioned this, but it's another segment that I find quite amusing. His actual show, and this is one of the reasons I think he's got extreme pain points against subscription services. His show was on a subscription service, so you know, if you really want to go down that route, you were part of the problem. His pain point was that the consolidation of his company, one of the first things they did was to get rid of his show. So obviously it wasn't what they would class as successful. In business, you look at what is successful, you look at what isn't successful, what is working, what isn't. When you acquire something, you get rid of the stuff that isn't working and you refine the stuff that is. If anybody wants to be creative, you allow them to be creative and present new ideas. That is the whole point of these kind of acquisitions. What you don't do is say, right, this stuff has been going for a very long time. It's not working. We'll just keep going at it and just let it continue to make a loss. That doesn't work, right? Yeah. You have to continue to refine and create. Now, second part, again, a lot of people have mentioned this with regards the staff. The people that are working at these companies that he just so egregiously missed out, or he's going to shut. What? No, if you know anything about Microsoft and what they've been doing over the last 5 to 6, 7 years, and how they've refined the way they actually work with their studios, their staff, with regards the inclusivity that they've got across the board, whether that be from race, creed, gender, sex, religion. Whatever it is, every other week you get an inbox, especially if you're part of the ambassador program, celebrating this a different segment of gamers, whether it be Black History Month, whether it be what they're supporting now, which is Gamers Awards, which is for the LGBTQ community.
Yes. Yep.
Whether it be Hispanics, whether it be anything, any segment or subsection of humanity across the board, they're celebrating these different communities and trying to bring that up. And that also bears within in their studios. As you rightfully mentioned before, Boom, one of the key statements from Phil Spencer on this acquisition was, we're not taking any shit from anybody. We are literally, like, if anybody has a problem with Activision, you're reporting to me. Like,
and he specifically really went out to say, like, you never see him like drop the meat on the table, but he did then. Of course.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. 100%. He slammed that meat straight down.
Oh my God.
What is going on?
You know exactly what's going on, Everborn. Keep the camera
The panel has gone off the rails. Order. I say.
Order.
You know exactly. You know exactly what I'm saying, though. Man. There was absolutely no point in time through any of the studios did he feel the need to come out and say this about any of the acquisitions, other than Activision Blizzard, which is synonymous with having egregious issues with their staff and the way their studios are being treated from top to bottom. So he's specifically come out on this one and said, listen, as soon as this is done, these are reporting to me and me alone. Yeah. Every other studio continues as is, other than Activision Blizzard. They report to me. If anybody's got an issue with the inclusivity agreements and the way we work, then goodbye, essentially. We don't tolerate that stuff here. And again, this is the whole point. And when people complain about working for a much larger company or this much larger company taking over some of these smaller studios, you've got to see the larger picture. This is also a multi-trillion-dollar company who is heavily affected by what happens within their studios in terms of their actual value. If they do so much as a large misstep to the same tune as what Activision Blizzard did, they would lose so much in value and so much in support. They could even essentially get things like government contracts ripped up if it was that bad, if the publicity was that egregious. And in terms of government contracts, we're talking about military agreements, etc. Like things that are well beyond gaming sector, much more valuable to them than anything that they're doing here. They could get things like the cloud segment, some of their contracts terminated. You've got to think of the larger picture of them. The reason they're trying to combat these things and having companies be part of this larger environment where they're actually treated well, looked after, and they have this inclusivity agreement in place, where staff are treated correctly from top to bottom, is to protect. And again, like Everborn said, and I have to say this isn't what is it?
Show friends.
Show business.
Show business, baby.
That's
there
the
you
word.
go.
Exactly. It is true. It's all about business, and the bottom line is they're going to protect the business assets regardless. So they are not going to tolerate some of the funky business that's been going on at Activision Blizzard, and that goes for every studio. But it also means that all staff will have to be treated correctly from top to bottom anyway, because even though people like to say bad publicity is publicity,
no,
it isn't the case.
Like
not for a company of this size. Not for a company of this size. When stuff like that happens, then it starts going in front of, like you mentioned, then it starts going in front of not just your general courts, etc. Then it's Congress and it's Parliament and it's the actual the legitimate courts, not just your little showrooms in the middle of nowhere where you're like your occasional state or the county or a city court or something like that. No. This is like the big guns. If something goes wrong there, the big guns.
Your point real quick. I'll add to you, and you can please continue. The reason why this matters is because unlike other companies, unlike other multi-billion-dollar companies, these guys have more money than many countries do.
Yes.
They have to be very careful how they thread the needle on anything. Anyone anywhere says anything that could be considered a little shifty, and that could change like markets and like a lot of crazy unforeseen complications. That is why everybody goes, "Oh, Phil Spencer's a nice man." He needs to be, even if he's a douche in behind closed doors. He has a vested trillions of dollars interest to stay even keeled at all times. It's important. Please, Dutch, continue.
Yeah, I mean, to your little point there was a nice little article actually about Phil Spencer.
Where actually, I know where you're going to go. You can drop it because that's very interesting to just to break down exactly the reason why he's getting the this big award at DICE for his lifetime achievement. We're going to speak at it specifically tomorrow, but Dutch, break it down.
Yeah, so just a kind of a little brief moment there, and there was a little article on there, and again, there's many like it because there's many people that have had the privilege of just jumping online and playing with them. But it wasn't just the case that this guy was in a group. Like this guy went online, he was playing. He happened to be in Phil Spencer's team when he was playing Destiny or something along the lines of that. And Phil Spencer dropped him a party invite, just chucked him in there and started just having a chat with him about gaming, anything, everything.
That's just
included him. And it was just being a normal person to a normal. And this is a guy that is literally the head of Microsoft Gaming. Like this is a big guy.
If you read what he said, he's like, I had to compose myself, but I did it.
Yeah. But this is the like when people start saying he's disingenuous. I mean, when you get to a point where the essentially the head of a very big shot at $2 trillion company. Almost $3 trillion in some circumstances, depending on what the market's doing at any given day, is coming in and just essentially shooting the shit with anybody and everybody that's gaming and playing games with them, having fun with them. You don't see that from anybody. You haven't. I mean, God, Bobby Kotick, he's your generic, just total douchebag kind of business owner, should we say, that is completely disjointed from reality. In some cases, we've seen, and I'm happy to see. Jim Ryan's seen a bit of sense and he's kind of starting to connect a bit more. But I'd love to see the Sony's execs actually get involved with the community like some of the Microsoft guys do.
I mean, Yoshida, he was like that.
Yeah, we love Shu.
Yoshi's good. Yeah,
great. We love Shu. Yeah.
But to the overall point, the rant that I'm giving now is just shows how little this guy actually knows about the wider gaming market and its overall place at the moment. If he thinks that the likes of Sony and Nintendo and all of these guys aren't going to continue to make acquisitions, whether or not it suits them, whether or not it's buying it for a certain reason, the Bungie one's a bit of a strange one. It makes sense in some instances, but in other instances it doesn't make sense. It's only going to see what happens in the long run with that one. But it's when, and this is why I kind of try to shoot this stuff down immediately when I see it. It's when people speak out about something that they're not educated about and try to make it as if they're educated about it to try and make a point to somebody else. I've always said if you're not educated on a subject, either learn about it first and then speak about it. And I mean actually learn about it. Don't just read a few paragraphs or something and think you know. Like there's a lot more to learning about something than just reading a line and then going into it. Actually take an interest in it, learn about it, and then you can have an actual valid argument, a valid opinion on something. Don't just shoot something out there like you say, trying to put down people who want to save money, trying to put down people who simply can't afford, and it's providing them a route into gaming, or trying to route into buying a console that might have been out of reach in previous years, or and then pointing them as the bad people for making it affordable when other people are, well, how can they undercut and make things affordable and then other people are charging £70? Like, surely you want to pay more money. What are you talking about? Nobody wants to pay in an ideal world. Nobody wants to pay more money. Well, I mean, you've seen the prices of gas, electric, and oil at the minute, and petrol. Do we want to pay more money for that? No. Are you saying anybody advocate to paying more money for your for utility? Hell no. So why is it any different in gaming? Why would we advocate for paying more for something that is exactly the same as it was before? The development costs are only going up because the world economy is going up. You always have to find ways in making sure the consumer is looked after, not the other way around. You look after the consumer first, because when you look after the consumer looks after you.
That is
correct.
Is
business.
Indeed. Yes.
So, but yeah.
I mean,
well, so hold on. Sorry, Boom.
Yeah,
that would normally be the case. But boy, Twitter is a strange place.
It would. Yes, exactly.
Because there's so many times I hear this, like, support the devs, and I'm happy to pay my $70 and quality and all those
Microsoft
things.
is getting the game for free. How dare they?
And again, listen, my light bill this month was double. I'm not happy about it. I gotta pay it, but I'm not gonna go around and be like, Con Edison needs their money, and I'm happy to give them more. It's only on Twitter. I'm telling you, we live in the Matrix. But go ahead.
We absolutely do. Well, listen, folks, 2 topics in. We got 15 minutes left of the show. Certainly for Meg to get out of here. We want to get everybody here on time. But Brett Bingham, generous friend of the show, he drops an additional super chat. I want to use what he says here for a mini topic to get everyone's opinion on this, because this is interesting, and it would be if it happens how my mind is starting to play it out, would be a tale of 2 coins or 2-sided coins. After the $5 super chat, he says Kamiya apologized in November. He's talking about the one of the studio head of Platinum Games, and he says here, Platinum Games CEO left 3 weeks ago, and Kamiya once again says that he wants to work with Phil. Is Platinum Games on the buy list? And this is interesting because Phil Spencer is dug his heels in the sand and has said specifically that they want to get a Japanese studio. Now, they currently own one in Tango, which we know that's a great one to have because they have an incredible leader there and they have an incredible history. But this one is interesting because Platinum Games, remember, obviously they were taking Microsoft's money. Scalebound incident happened. It was mud all over the people's face. It was, just last week, Kamiya said, actually, hey, Phil Spencer, I'd love to work with you. I'm not saying the writing's on the wall, but it would be an interesting story because Platinum, listen, maybe they're not the Platinum of what they used to be, and maybe that was a management leadership situation. I don't know, but I think that with the correct proper funding, they could return. They could return to the good old days of Platinum with Microsoft saying, okay, listen, now you're under our umbrella. I'm sorry to say, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I kind of dug what Scalebound was putting down. Anybody in the panel jump in on this?
Yeah, I want to get to it straight away. I'd kick him to the curb personally.
Okay, I mean, listen, I get it. Listen, a lot of people are upset.
The reason for that specifically and it's quite simple. They had the guts.
The audacity, if you will.
Yeah, the audacity, exactly, to let Microsoft take the fall for the abysmal showing that was.
And they did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they literally didn't say a word about it. They just took it on their shoulder and said, whatever. We'll just
they let Phil Spencer take those arrows for years.
Years
and years.
Mm-hmm.
And then had the audacity all of a sudden come out and say, yeah, sorry, that was us.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden Microsoft is turning things around, and you see them still dropping coin, and you go, "Oh, we want some of that coin."
And now the money's getting flashed. Now the money's getting flashed. Yo, we want to work with you now. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah. Every other week, I see an article from him saying, "Oh, yeah, I really want to make Scalebound, Phil Spencer," and then he keeps tweeting at him, "Phil Spencer, give us a job. Come on, let's game."
Wow.
He's like,
"You know what I want them to do?
It's done. It is gone. Just get over it." I'm sorry, but You treat a company like that, you expect them to just pick you up for 2 seconds and just start working. No, hell no. You've got to earn that right back, and you haven't so far.
And they're not going to. I don't think they even deserve it. I think that Phil Spencer should do the thing that Lucy does in the Charlie Brown, where she holds the football and then here comes
last minute.
Yeah, and here comes and then last minute just pull it up and go go to Sony suckers, and then just take the money and give it to somebody else. That's what they think they should do.
No, you know what
too
they should
late,
do?
man.
They should burn it like the Joker, like Joker did in The Dark Knight.
It's not about the money.
Burn all the money.
Yep.
That's right.
But yeah, it's for me, it's as simple as that. To be honest, they haven't earned the right to do it, and to earn that right.
No, you're definitely making sense there, and I can see where there's certainly some hurt feelings that would be because I think Kay Asante, you were saying it. They let Phil Spencer take the arrows for years.
Yeah, to the point where he was the butt of people's jokes, and that's the reason why Phil, he's not fit to do his job. All the while, everyone knew behind the scenes that they basically got their money taken. They got taken for a ride, and then they get to be the PR whipping boys for years until Kamiya decides to turn over a new leaf and be honest about it. There is no world in which he's a nice guy, but he's a nice guy that's managing trillions of dollars. There's no way that this nice guy is going to do that. You know what I'm saying? He's a nice guy because he needs to be, but he's also a businessman, and these people don't make dollars or cents. So get out of here. This is ridiculous. Come
on. Let's bring Chris and Dave. What do you guys got on this?
Chris, go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, just this whole. I mean, fool me once, right, and then fool me twice.
I like that.
Why would you want to go down that route again? There's so many other developers and studios that probably deserve that money more than them at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong, Platinum Games does make some pretty cool stuff, but I mean, there's plenty of other people out there that can do some really good stuff for them.
Yeah, Dave, what do you want to add to the conversation?
Well, I would say that definitely agree with everybody that they've definitely seemed to burn some bridges, but if it came down to like if they were able to acquire them at a very reasonable rate with their, the things that they've done in the past, and that if they were able to, I guess, instead of just be like, you're throwing money and make a game, that's obviously not the way to do it, but to maybe, I don't know, not necessarily babysit them, but if to really have a, every week, on the meetings, let's see the progress. Let's see how things are going, if they were to really, I guess, not necessarily baby them, but I mean, if they were really to keep an eye on them as they were, there's a possibility, not maybe it's scale bound, but I mean, some other franchise or some other things that they could actually do good, then maybe they get back in the good graces and they would have maybe pull the reins off a little bit. That's just my thing.
You know what they'd need to add to this, though, is Kamiya would need some serious PR training before he gets anywhere near Microsoft Studios.
Yeah.
Because he is ridiculous. Like, he literally blocks people because they speak English. That is not even a joke. If you're English speaking and you refuse to speak Japanese, you're blocked.
Wow. Yep.
Okay, can I say something for a second on this one? Because,
go for it.
You ever date somebody and you weren't your best self back then? You didn't have your career set up yet. You weren't driving your nice Tesla. You didn't own a few businesses, right?
Can we talk? Just kidding.
Right? And they didn't have the time of day for you back then. They treated you like dirt.
So instead you stole his money and now you want to get back?
No. Look, you get your college degree, you're driving around, big house, nice family, and then here they come, still working at the supermarket, looking at you, pulling up in your nice car, and they're like, "Hey, remember when we used to have fun?" No, bitch, pack my bags. That's what's happening right now.
You and I need to have a conversation, good sir. We need to have.
No,
conversation.
he's right. No, Everborn's
blew
right.
it.
You remember
he's right, but
it
sounds like he's hitting a little too close to home right now.
Remember when Dave Chappelle did that skit? The same deal about the donut. Where's your mama? At the donut store.
I said,
how lucrative.
I want paper, not plastic. Put the bags in the thing and ring up the register. I got things to do. Right? You know how many 50 games Xbox Game Studios is working on right now. They don't have time for scale-bound 0.5.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares. You're done.
Yeah, no, I
It's
mean,
over for
listen,
you. Forget it.
listen, I absolutely agree. I think that everyone has some really great points about the money could be spent on someone else. There were certainly other Japanese studios, maybe not publishers, because I don't think they're going to be talking publishers for quite some time, because obviously the Activision Blizzard thing must get done. I am going to say that we did have an incredible 30-minute conversation with Hogue Law on Last Breakfast with Boom, and he broke down so many great points regarding the mythos of buying a Japanese publisher / studio, which also on whether or not Microsoft could potentially be making some studio level moves in 2022 as they wait for this deal to potentially for the regulators to to potentially pass through, and some are even suggesting that we may even that might even happen this year towards the end of December maybe. I'm still kind of banking on March 23 for me personally, but if all of their I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, there's no reason to hold it up. But again, that's a FTC kind of a thing. We'll see in time. But listen, folks, what a great evening. We had over 400 people here. We still have 300 a quarter here. Let's get to the outros and get everyone out of here. We'll start first with the Mag, because the Mag has got to get out of here at 9 o'clock. Mag, by all means, brother, tell everyone when your next skit is coming, what you got going on, and when is it? Are you going to show up next week with as a redhead? That's what everybody wants.
I might do that. You know what? Because I'm never home for gaming after dark anymore. So you know what? Maybe a little Aloy's going to have to show up on Primetime Gaming. I have to steal one of my wife's bras, but hey, you know what? That's part of the gig. But as for when to check out whatever's coming up next, all you got to do is keep an eye on the news, guys. Don't keep an eye on me. Just keep an eye on the news. If you see something ridiculous happen, shift your eyeballs over to my account, because by the end of the day, I'll be on top of it. But anyways, guys, it was a great show. Chris, Webb, Dave, you guys were thank you very much, Asante. And you guys were great guests tonight, of course. It was wonderful to actually do a show with you guys and the panel. You guys are amazing as always. Boom. Thank you for putting this whole damn thing together. And let's get to those 75 million likes like Slogo Man, guys. Come on. We could do it right here on this channel. But anyways, enough jokes. Guys, great show. Chat, you guys are amazing and so supportive. And we will see you guys all next Monday.
Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate that. And let's get Chris out of here. Now, Chris, before we get you out of here, brother, you got to sell your brand. You got to tell us about 1H1D. Where can people check that out to subscribe to your YouTube channel? Where could people reach out to you? And if they want to talk about anything, where could they hit you up on social media?
Yeah, thank you again. This is super fun, and you guys had so many awesome points, and the chat was great as well. Where you can check us out on almost all podcasting platforms, I hope. 1 Hour, One Decision is the name of the show again, and we are on YouTube. We're getting close to the 100.
Just linked it in chat for you.
Yes, you did it like 3 or 4 thousand times. Thank you, appreciate it. So yeah, we have our videos out on YouTube as well, and you can check us out on Twitter. I tweet every once in a while at TC1H1D, and I mean, this Game Pass stuff is. I have so much content to work through now, so it's great.
Yeah,
it's just constantly
it's pretty incredible that we are only in the second month of the year, and what they've dropped into Xbox Game Pass has been nothing short of stupendous.
Yeah.
Well, listen, brother, we definitely got to get you back on here, potentially with your brother that works with you on the podcast. Yeah. We'll get you next time I'll reach out to you in a DM next time. We'll get both of you guys on here. Webb Dave, brother, we got to talk about your interviews. I was very fortunate enough to get interviewed by you last week, I believe it was, and it was just a great 70-minute conversation. We talked about my past career, which of course I'm very transparent about doing, and what made me want to be a police officer. Folks, you didn't know, was because of G.I. Joe. But that's my favorite toy of all time. Hell, I even still collect at 51 years old. And Dave, you got to tell us where we can check these incredible and very professionally made interviews, and where could people reach out to you on social media?
Well, thanks again for having me on, Boom. I mean that, and every single one of the panelists tonight are absolutely great influencers, and I will be reaching out to some of you that I haven't reached out to yet. So just be looking in your inbox. Not you have to reply or not, but it's outbreakpodcast.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me. Just outbreakpodcast.com. That is our website. On there, front page, you'll see the link to every single social media that we're on right there. Plus, we have we put show notes and things like that for all the different video content we have. Kind of branching out into the gaming thing because I love it. And Boom's basically an inspiration to want to do this. And like I said, I've got several great interviews in the can. I got Kay Asante coming up.
Nice.
Well, I got Mav coming this Wednesday, and I've got Kay Asante the following week. Pong Soul is going to record with me on this Wednesday, so he'll be after that. So then I've got some more that I'm lining up, and hopefully we'll continue to go it. And it's basically, I just, like I said, I enjoy watching these programs, and I enjoy watching these content creators. And it's like sometimes you're sitting there thinking, man, I want to know more about this person, and that's what I do. We just kind of dig into it and jump in with feet first and have a little bit of fun. Boom! Thanks again.
My pleasure, brother. And Wandering Dutch, please sell everybody on your brand. Talk about the collective you have going on, of course, and Chris and 1H 1D is a part of that. And where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously, you can find me on Twitter and YouTube as Wandering Dutch. We obviously are part of the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, and within that, over the last year, I've created something called the Midweek Mix-Up Collective, which is essentially a collection of smaller creators that we help grow. Obviously, help them kind of increase, whether or not that's something that they need help with on the technical aspect of streaming and content creation, or ideas, or brand awareness, or anything like that. And essentially just empower them to be as good as they can be going forwards, and grow their brand and just get to a level that they feel comfortable at and starting to see the numbers rise. And that's obviously just doing something that they love. So we have 6 content creators in there now, of which are, of course, Living Split Screen, 1 Hour 1 Decision, Talk Story Podcast, General C, the Gamers Watch Crew, and Xbox Mick as well. So awesome set of creators, all very varied in the kind of content that they produce. Several different kinds of podcasts, several different types of shows in content creation. It's absolutely awesome. And again, it's testament to people like Boom and the Iron Lords who help bring up these smaller accounts as well. That I've wanted to do something very similar. Obviously, Boom, you've got an awesome show with an awesome following and community.
Thank you, sir.
That helps really drive numbers to new creators. From myself, I don't have the numbers, but what I can do is kind of share my particular expertise.
Listen, it's all about paying it forward, and regardless of size, Dutch, you do an incredible job to allow people to talk about gaming. And listen, I say this all the time. We have to understand, as vast as YouTube is, all right, there is a lot of bad actors, but there are a lot of great podcasts that don't have the numbers that you may not see. That's one of the things that, like I said, I say this all the time. I built this channel with the ideology that, listen, door was open for me by Mooch. Now, maybe Crossfire isn't your bag. Maybe you don't like the way they do their show, but I'm always going to be grateful for him allowing me to introduce myself to this community. And I think what you're doing over there, Dutch, and what everyone on this panel does is open the door for somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about if someone's going to get more subs than me. I could care less as long as I can help somebody.
Provide them that opportunity. And again,
100%.
The opportunities, and every one of them are so varied. Like Talk Stories based over in Hawaii.
Yes.
You've got, again, Chris is like in America again. Then you've got obviously Living Split Screen that's just Pong and Steel. And they're just doing their own thing like for 74 hours on a Saturday. It's so varied, and Gamers Watch Crew are UK based, and then you've got Xbox Mick, who's a singular kind of just unboxing channel, as it were, but he's looking to expand as well. It's just everyone with something different, and again, it's so many different backgrounds and beliefs and how they do things and how they create. And I'm not the type of person as well, specifically when they get support from me, where I'm saying, oh, you need to do X, Y, and Z. It's just you do what you do best, and I'll provide you with all the support you need to be as good as you can be. So that's all I want to do. Again, empower people to get as good as they can be. And that's thanks to people, like I said before, people like yourselves and the Iron Lords who provided me the platform as well. You pay it forward, you get out what you put in.
Yes. 100%. Well, Dutch, great to have you a part of this show each and every week, and obviously, getting to obviously, the more people you add to the initiative, the more we will bring them on here, and we will help move the needle on who finds these incredible content creators. Kay Asante, what a show you had on Saturday. Obviously, you and Everborn Saga not only delivered and like brothers fought like crazy, like cats and dogs, basically live on the air.
We keep it fun.
You keep it fun, indeed. But you had Randall Thor 19, the man with a million, refereeing, and Rand, delivered like he always does each and every week. Not only
he was slanderous. He was slanderous.
I was a little slanderous.
Yes,
he was.
Yeah. It was a great time. As I said, I've said this to you guys before. This is the year where I'm going to be, getting a little bolder and inviting my podcast heroes on the show. Rand being one of them, 100%. The "we're not worthy" meme comes to mind every time I think of it. It is what it is. But yes, it was awesome having him on the show. It was a great show, a lot of fun. A great conversation. I will preface next week's episode right now, and I see him in the chat. Mr. Mav, Fun Speculation, will be our guest.
Oh, that's going to be a great show. Yeah, we love Mav.
So, yeah, it's another one of those great creators who's come out on the scene and done amazing things, and always very level-headed and even keeled in his responses and whatnot. So I always appreciate being able to have conversations with him. So yes, TKO Asante on Twitter. The show is the Gaming Circle Podcast. It's on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. Sometimes it moves a little here and there based on the guests that we're having. We don't want to wake people up at like 4 a.m. Absolutely ridiculous, right? So, come and watch us bicker like grown men or children, however you choose to see it. But it's always in fun, and we're always trying to have introspective conversations, things that sometimes is the issue of the day. Other times it's the evergreen topics that keep us, talking in our gaming communities. Myself and Mr. Everborn Saga always, bringing the best of what we can do. I appreciate being on this show as usual. Awesome to have these guests on as well. As has been said, Mr. Web Dave interviewed me, and it'll be on his channel pretty soon. Also, very interesting conversation. Trying to get the secrets out and stuff. It is what it is. We had a great conversation. It was fun. It was fun. And yes, and of course, Chris, you now have one subscriber in me. I will definitely be checking out your stuff. And nice. I hope folks go on the YouTube channel and check it out as well. For a small channel, very well produced stuff. Looks great. Better than mine for a long time. Thank you very much. We're learning and growing. So I appreciate you being on here, and I'm sure we'll be talking again. So it was absolutely wonderful as usual with all the folks in the chat, and we will definitely see you guys next week.
Absolutely, brother. And of course, last and no way least, the slanderous one who was so slanderous that his camera didn't work, but we'll get that fixed next week. Everborn Saga, by all means, sell your brand, brother. What you got going on with the Everborn Saga? When can people find out about the new content that's coming that we had a chance to see behind the scenes? And where can people reach out to you and potentially get you involved in a space?
No, I am Everborn Saga everywhere. That is Twitter, where I'm very active. I try to follow everyone who follows me. Facebook, if you're into that sort of nonsense, or Instagram or TikTok, but I'm usually never on those. Also, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Oculus, that's all Everborn Saga. Everborn Saga on YouTube, which I'd like you all to do me a favor and follow. We're going to get On the Reel coming back soon. I'm thinking we will return this year along with the new Batman movie. So we'll have a lot to talk about on that front, because I just have not been inspired by the Book of Boba Fett. but that is what that is.
The last 2 episodes, though, fire.
Was that Boba Fett or was that somebody else?
That was the Mandalorian, but that's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. But anyway, also, most importantly, check out everbornsaga.com where you can get a hold of these books that we are talking about. The Redlands is done. I'm just working on the final thank you page for everyone that supported the Kickstarter. So your name will be printed in the book, and then we send it off to the printer. And I'm trying to get everybody their rewards, hopefully by the end of this month, at worst, very early next month. Okay. So again, that's the Redlands, and there's another project coming very soon, the 4th series, which is the Remnant, and that'll make our 4 foundational series that tells our interconnected universe of stories. So everbornsaga.com, Everborn Saga on Twitter, and Everborn Saga on YouTube. Those are the best places to find me. Nice. And yeah, that's it.
All right, folks. Well,
and Adam's take was still garbage. Don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% garbage. Yeah, he's the human garbage man for sure. But listen, folks, thank you so much for dropping and hanging out with us for over 2 hours. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. If you're already not subbed to the channel, listen, folks. We hit 10K early in 2022, I should say, and now it's off to the races for 25. We're skipping 10. We're skipping 15 and 20. We want to go right to 25. And if you want to help me get there,
why not?
Yeah, why not? But listen, folks, real quick before we get out of here, it's only 200. I probably should have opened the show with it, but I'm going to do some more advertising. This Wednesday, I will be dropping my hands-on video review of the X screen for the Xbox Series S. I was given an unbelievable opportunity by the brothers at Upspec Gaming. Listen, I got it in my hands. I've been messing with it all day. It is. I can't say anymore because I don't want to ruin the review. But definitely, if you like what you see there, I'll have all the information where you can buy this device at upspecgaming.com. Definitely give that a check out. That's going to be dropping hopefully this Wednesday. I'm going to start putting start doing some video recording in the studio, which is really kind of my just apartment, but I'm going to set it up like a studio so it looks professional. I'm going to be using HDR10. It's going to be up in 4K, and that's going to. And listen, I'm one of the only small content creators to get it. The only ones the only big sites that got it are GameSpot, IGN, and a few others, and I have been presented an incredible opportunity. I hope that you will tune in, and I hope it's that hashtag just one that really gets people to check out the channel, because it is a big opportunity, and that should be going live this Wednesday. But of course, I want to close out today's program with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you, and that's something that my dear old dad taught us when we were kids, and he said, son, treat others how you want to be treated, and also it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.